Hello, my name is Rachel and welcome to our channel, Dragon Light Bay. Today we're going to do some astrology. This is for the full moon, which is occurring on March 18th, 2022 at 7:17 a.m. That is GMT time, so that's at the UK time, London. And it is occurring in the sign of Virgo. So very interesting. The planet being in the sign of Virgo, moon being in Virgo, is not the most comfortable of places. Virgo is an analytical sign. Probably, well, of all the earth signs, it is the most analytical. They are ruled naturally by the planet Mercury, which is all about communication, it's analysis, it's a lot of other things, but on a personal level, it's about communication, analysis, and detail, and logic. And of course, the moon is not really necessarily about detail, certainly not about logic. It's about emotion, and it's about what we feel. Okay, so you could say on one hand, there's a positivity here, which is, being able to actually look at our emotions from a perspective of, understanding our emotions in a mental way, an intellectual way, rather than an emotional response. So that can be a positive thing. It can also be challenging. But the positivity on that is that we can look at something in a more objective manner. And that can help us with some of the other aspects that are going on here. Okay, so one of the big ones that I need to mention, and I've already circled, here's our moon. Here's Pluto, which is, we put the moon here at 27 degrees Virgo, 39 minutes, and we've got Pluto in the sign of Capricorn at 28 degrees, 10 minutes. Okay, they are both earth signs. This is a trine. Trines are considered a very positive aspect. But like all aspects, like everything, there is some positive and some negative. But the effect is in general, quite positive. Okay, so what we've got here, and Pluto is the leader. Pluto's at 28 degrees, so it is moving ahead of the moon. So that makes it the leader here. So we are looking at things from a very deep perspective. Pluto is about the depths. Pluto is, you look in the tarot cards, it is the death card, okay? Card number 13, which is always, of course, about, a change, a transformation. And generally, it's a transformation that's quite complete. So some of that's going on here with our emotions, going through a transformation on how we see things, how we feel about things. Okay, so some deep transformational work is being done here. And it is delicate because it's the moon, it's our emotions. And you're going to see there's going to be a lot of sensitivity in people. Now, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be compassionate and empathetic. What it means is they're going to be sensitive in that, they may be irrational in, some instances, very sensitive. Now, as I said, this is a positive aspect. However, you can see that occur regardless, okay? But there's always learning through it. So that's, the benefit. There's always learning through it. Let's see, what else do we want to say about this? Okay, so we're transforming. It's the power of regeneration on our emotional level. And the positive thing, the other positive thing here is because it's in the sign of Virgo, it is looking at things on a more objective manner and a more analytical manner. So even though that's kind of a push me, pull me a situation, in this case, it's going to assist us, okay? All right, so we've got transforming, transfiguring, deep level. This also lends us some courage, this aspect. It lends us courage. We feel more courageous about taking a stand in something that we feel, okay? What we feel about something. It's also going to heighten our intuition. It's going to make it very, very keen. So for those of you who are already working that and who are already very in touch with their intuition, this is going to assist you in getting maybe some more clarity here. And again, on a very deep level, because we're talking about Pluto, king of the underworld, it's god of the underworld rather. So deep stuff going on here. Thoughts about, maybe some grief coming up, feelings of loss that can also be coming into play. But it's going to be in order to better understand it and then be able to transform it with Pluto's power here, transform it. It's also very good for practical manifestation, which these two, when they get together in this positive way, it's good for that. But even more so because they're in Earth signs, okay? We've got Virgo and we've got Capricorn, both Earth signs. So this is really grounding these ideas into planet Earth. And it's going to have to do with earthly matters, a lot to do with earthly matters. So perhaps jobs, careers, finances, relationships, family, big one, mother, all that. Okay, what else have we got going here? We have got, sorry, just checking my notes here. Okay, yes, we've got also the moon is in opposition to Neptune. Now, this is not occurring on, oh no, it is occurring, excuse me. It is occurring on the 18th. The moon is 27 degrees Virgo, 39 minutes, and then Neptune is 23 degrees in Pisces, 3 minutes. Okay, so very close opposition here. Oppositions are always push me, pull me, right? They are this, the seesaw. It can be that kind of energy. It is a pulling energy. Okay, but what is the positive about an opposition is that it enables you to see from both sides. Okay, it enables you to see from both sides. In this case, we've got the energies of Virgo and Pisces. Okay, the moon is the leader here. The moon is at 27 degrees. Neptune is at 23 degrees. So it's more about what we feel. Okay, and this opposition involving Neptune with the moon, this can create confusion, emotional confusion. There can be a tendency to project our own emotions onto the world. Okay, we're unhappy in our life, we are angry in our life. That is how we are seeing the world. Oh, there's a lot of anger out there. There's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of sadness out there. That can be our own emotions that we are projecting onto the world. Not to say that there isn't all of those things going on, by the way. But it can feel very personal because it's the moon. The moon is being involved. So it can feel very personal rather than a objective conversation on, hey, there's a lot of fear out there. Maybe we need to, tread a little bit more carefully and come from a place of compassion. So rather than that, we're saying, oh my God, there's a lot of fear out there, that we say this in a fearful way. So you can see how that can cause some problems. Now, the good thing is, because it's in Virgo, this does help us have a little bit more ability to analyze this, okay, and look at it and go, okay, what am I feeling? What's actually going on there? And kind of separating it out just a bit. But the overriding thing here is this Pluto aspect. So we really need to look at it deeply. We are not going to get away with doing it in a shallow manner. I'm just going to circle this here. Okay, so we've got the Neptune now. So these are the ones that are playing right now. Okay, so the other thing about this opposition is really watching for psychic attack, energy vampires, feeling a drain on ourselves emotionally. So good idea to do a little bit more protection than maybe you normally would. Or just have that in mind. Sometimes just knowing it ahead of time really helps. Okay, so yeah, psychic attack, emotional drains. The other thing to keep in mind here is both of these signs, Pisces and Virgo, love to be of service. Okay, so there is a high-mindedness here that you can reach for, which will help you from being drawn into the lower energies of these potential lower energies involved in these two, in this aspect and these two signs. Okay, so if you reach for the higher aspect of this, which is being of service, Pisces loves to be of service on an emotional level. They are a water sign, so it's more about the emotions, helping people through a difficult emotional situation. This is something that Pisces are, they're there for that. They're very compassionate, very empathetic sign. And then you have Virgo, who loves to be of service in a practical way. So you can see how these two can work together in a beautiful way. So that is one of the questions we can ask ourselves during this full moon, is how can I be of service? And where is my service not necessary? Where am I kind of putting energy out that is not reciprocated? Reciprocated. And so this is another question that may come up for us during this full moon. Okay. We also have, what else have we got going here? We've got, we've got Mercury. Mercury is also in Pisces. So we've got that over here, Mercury in Pisces. And this is conjunct, it's also conjunct our Jupiter here. So, and this is also in opposition of the moon. Now, this is not going to be on the 18th. This is actually going to be on the 17th of March. You're going to have this real quick aspect that's going to come in on that day. And I mention it because a little bit of forewarning, okay? This is a good time. The 17th is a good day to have a me day, have a retreat. Maybe don't go on social media that day. Spend a little bit of time reading a book or something along those levels. If you have to go to work, of course, you're going to have to socialize to a degree, but maybe stay out of conversations that day. We're going to feel really sensitive, and any kind of communications may not go the easiest. Okay, so that's March 17th, so a day before the full moon. Okay, and then we have this very lovely conjunction between Mercury and Jupiter here. Okay, so Mercury and Jupiter conjuncting, this is inspiration. This is broadening our minds. This is excellent for studies of a spiritual or philosophical nature. It's great for writers. This is like a really great time for writing, or having to, if you have a job where you have to, communicate with people, this is an excellent time for that. It's a beautiful aspect. Mercury and Jupiter, they both are about communication. Okay. So very, very good time for that. Very good time for healing our throat chakras, that sort of thing. It also can be a great time to win support. So if you have like maybe some kind of project where you really need to get some other people on board, you need some cooperation, this is an excellent time for that. This aspect between the Mercury conjunct Jupiter, okay? And Jupiter is the leader in this case. Jupiter is at 18, Mercury's at 13 degrees. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. We've also got Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Okay. So, wow. Okay. Talk about inspiration. Talk about imagination, artistic motivation, artistic, creative, the muse. Okay, the muse, this is like a beautiful aspect for that. We are going to feel inspired. We're going to, even if you're not normally creative, in any kind of, physical form, you're going to feel like maybe creating something. You're going to feel inspired. So this is another beautiful aspect here. It also is going to give us some extreme sensitivity. Okay, so it's going to heighten that, which for some people, this is a really good thing. For others of us who are already quite sensitive, this may be feeling a little bit raw, so maybe doing some things to take extra special care of yourself during this time. Now, this aspect, it actually entered on March 14th. Is that right? Yes, that's correct. It entered March 14th. It's going to be exact around the 21st of the month. 21st. Let's see, I've got my handy dandy ephemeris here. Yes, let's see. Yeah, it's entered on the 14th, and it is going to be exact around the 21st. So even more power on this aspect around the 21st of March. And then it's going to be leaving. When is it going to be leaving? It is leaving. Mercury enters Aries on the 28th of March. So down here, the 28th of March is going to be leaving. Okay, so take advantage of it. And, if you don't want to fall into that sensitivity, extreme sensitivity, to where you feel that kind of rawness, pick up a sketchbook, break out the poetry, that old journal that you got stuck in the back of the closet. Time to bring that out, bust that out, and do some poetry. That will alleviate some of that rawness, okay, because you'll have an outlet for it. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Lastly. No, is it lastly? Yes, lastly. Okay, so we've got this aspect here that we've had going on for a while. This is our Venus and Mars conjunction. Now, this occurred around February 13th in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, and it was with Pluto, and there was a little bit of anxiety about this, because even though the Mars and the Venus together can be a really cool, passion, love, romance is in the air, but conjuncting Pluto, a little bit of high tensions going on, aggression, violence, that sort of thing. Now that left Capricorn. It left Capricorn on the 7th of March, and it went into the sign of Aquarius. So now we're not conjunct Pluto anymore, so we can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Some of that volatility left the air. Of course, there's still violence in the world. There's still aggression going on, but that heightened aspect left on the 7th of March. So a little bit of cooling down. Also, because it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is an air sign, it is cooler. It's a cooler passion, okay? And it is directed now, rather than maybe personal relationships, although that can still be going on, meeting of the minds, it's air, so it's meeting of the minds. And, feeling that simpatico and feeling passionate about ideas, feeling passionate about humanitarian causes, so that's a lovely thing. And so it's more objective here in the sign of Aquarius, both Mars and Venus, a little bit cooler aspect. And more on, more bringing that energy and passion and enthusiasm to the world at large. What can I do in my neighborhood? Can I start a food drive? Can I start some kind of after school program to help teens out? Whatever. Those are the kind of ideas and passion where this now in this sign is going to be leading people. Okay, so very nice for that. Social activities, generosity, humanitarianism. Now it will be coming into close contact with Saturn over here. So what does that do? What does that mean? Okay, that's going to become more and more prevalent on the 18th, which is the full moon that we're talking about. These planets are going to be at 11 degrees, Venus 11 degrees 8 minutes, Mars 9 degrees 0 minutes. Okay, so very close here together. And Saturn is also in Aquarius, but Saturn is at 20 degrees, so a little bit out. It's pretty close to the Venus. So what does that mean? It's going to put a little bit of feeling of restriction on our passions. So a little bit feeling maybe a little bit restricted, feeling like things are not moving as quickly as we'd like, maybe feeling a bit of a damper, like maybe you have this idea to do this food drive and you've got people going, no, that's not going to work, you can't do that, so there's kind of criticalness, feeling the enthusiasm being dampened and restricted a bit. Okay, now on the positive side, because there's always a positive, on the positive side, what this will do is make you really think about what you actually want to do. Okay, it's because Saturn isn't just mean. Saturn is trying to teach us something. Okay, sometimes it feels like it's just being mean and bossy and obnoxious, but it genuinely is trying to teach us something. So Saturn comes in and says, okay, you want to do this humanitarian thing? Great. Okay, think it through. What are you going to do this with? How are you going to make it happen? So if you do that and you use that energy of Saturn to make it practical, to ground it into Earth, it's going to be an assistance. If you get, annoyed because it's not happening fast, then it's just going to make it feel more and more restricted. Okay. So reach for that, reach for it in the aspect of, okay, how can I make this happen? How can I make this a practical thing? What do I have to do to make this work? Okay, those are the kind of things that Saturn loves to hear. Now, later on, I think it's going to be in April. Just so you know, heads up. Mars is going to be heading towards being conjunct Saturn, and that is going to be a time to watch for aggressiveness again. It's still going to be cooler because it's still going to be in the sign of Aquarius. But it is going to be something to be aware of that early, let's see here, I've got my ephemeris for April. Let's see, Mars, 20 degrees. And then we've got, yeah, Saturn here is at 22. Yeah, so it's going to get closer and closer there in April. So just being aware of that. But then Mars will be leaving Aquarius on the 16th of April. Okay, so there is going to be some tensions there. Perhaps Mars and Saturn don't really get along too well. They don't really like being in the same sign. Again, it's in the sign of Aquarius. So that's, that'll help cool it down a bit. But just keep that in mind. That's for April. Okay, so that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. My name again is Rachel, and our channel is Dragon Light Bay. Thank you so much. I love your comments. Thank you so much. Take care.